some publishing options. So you can publish your scene from inside Blender also. That focusing on the debugging part. So this is panel here, which is one of these panels that when you press the N key, show up to the right of your viewport. So now we have this hubs tab here. And this tab has, well, the main item here is the main item here is hubs, but then you expand that and you can see like a few items here. The first one is status, shows the status of the session, and you can close the session. Then there is this debug section here where you can set the different parameters for the query state parameters. So this is basically what we're talking about now. These parameters they have to add to the URL. So to unlock different things, so you can unlock the new loader, the easiest debug view. You can skip the entry, so you go straight into the room instead of having to go over all the modals for audio and stuff. And then the last one is the debug local scene, which is the one that you need for being able to drag and drop and debug a scene. So these, so here you can set the parameters without needing to set them in the URL. Then you have this section here for creating a room, which you can set. You can add instances. And those instances can be, sorry, okay, I thought maybe you couldn't hear me. Those instances can be like anything. You just need to point it to the landing page of the instance. So here, for example, the default one is the demo hub. So you see this points to the demo. This is the testing instance for behavior graphs. You can name it to behavior graphs testing, and this is pointing to the landing page of that instance, and then this is my local instance. So this is what I use when I'm working locally to debug code. So this will be my local instance. Second. So that once you create an instance here, that you can click on create, and that will create a room using that instance. And initially, the status you see is red there, and you are waiting for a session. So basically, you need to be for certain things like.
Bostman was screen.
No, bummer. He'll be back. I know he'll be back. Yep. Audio
and video, I guess.
Yeah, and the stream.
WebRTC.
And
got lost.
And you see this browser session here is loading now.
Short panel
and eventually we'll enter the room.
See, I see a screen share still.
Wait.
I did not see it.
I just
don't hear him.
But you can hear him. That's interesting.
He's going to come back.
Okay. By now, I mean, this is happening too regularly.
It's always with screen share too.
Always with screen share, and it always seems to be with Manuel for some reason.
And he was about to show the coolest part too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it might be that. I think this is have like a lot of things. Well, not a lot of things, but maybe a few things that somehow affect the screen share. Well, I'm gonna try it again. So you can see my screen now, right? This is a device.
So you hit create, and it opened a room.
Yeah. So basically, I hit on create, selecting one of the instances, and this has opened a room there. And now you see the status is green. I can.
And by the way, you can specify which browser in the preferences for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have some settings here in preferences where basically you can select, or you can. This is where you install uninstall dependencies that the add-on requires for this, and then here you can select the browser. But yeah, so one of the options is creating a room there, and then once you have created a room, open this so we can deploy. So here you can see the panel again, and then you can see that I'm connected to that instance. And now that we are connected to that instance, we can go to the update part of it, and then you just click on update, and that updates the scene in that session.
It's so cool that you can just open another Blender scene and load that and not have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah. Well, there are certain settings that they are dependent on the scene. They travel with the scene, so to speak. But yeah, all the state of the connection or all the state of the session that you have open, that stays the same. And the instances are also independent from the scene, so those are persisted to the file system, so it will work for any scene or even any Blender version that you are using now. But yeah, so now every time you do that, you create a room, you open it, and then you click on update, then you can update the scene. So you can have like sort of you have two monitors or a big screen. You can have like some setup like this where you start like changing things. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just move this up a little bit, and then just click on update, and then now I can see here that the cube is being moved.
And so this eliminates the need for drag and drop at all.
Yeah, and now you don't need to drag and drop at all. So the only thing that you need to do is just like open the session and just click on update. This section here, which is open room, so you can save open rooms here. So you click on last now. This will be saving this room. I mean now. So you can see here. Can see the scientific phrase. This is storing the URL. And if you click on open, then that will, well, do the same as create, but just instead of creating a new one, just open an existing one. So we will use these flags to open that room. So if I go to testing here and I open this will reload the existing session, and it will just try to, and as you see in the status, you see there's yellow now, and now it becomes green because now we are inside. And now that we are in, we can just again click on update, and this will load the room, and we can start debugging. Another thing that we can do, if you don't want to debug a scene, instead of that, you can uncheck the debug local scene, and if you reopen the room, that room won't have that flag, so it will be a regular room without the debug local scene. And in that case, you can just debug objects or avatars. So if you are working on this scene, where did it go? Here. If you are working this scene and imagine that you don't want to, or you are working on some specific things, imagine that we're working on this object as a model, then we can, for example, click on selection only. Not yet.
Not sure why it reloaded.
Huh?
You left it on debug local scene. You just ran into that bug I told you about. So what you have to do is open it again in debug local scene, set it to a proper scene, and then reload without.
With this section here, you can get the scenes. So this will load the scenes that you have in that instance that you have now you are connected to. And I'm connected to my local instance. So this is showing the scenes that I have in that instance. If I click and open, then that will open the scene. So now I'm opening the scene. And if I click on create, I will be creating a room using that scene. And then this part here at the bottom, this publish. With this, I can just publish something to my instance. So let me, for example, if I I open a room in the testing instance here. Now when I connect it, this clears up, and then I get my scenes here. I can see all the different scenes that I have there. I could, for example, click on create using the globe hologram scene, and that should open a room using that scene. Okay, and now we can see that this is the last version of that scene that I uploaded. But if I now, if I want to update that scene and say that I've been changing this cube here, and then I want to update the scene, like to see this cube change, then I can click on update. Well, it'll ask you to because they are overriding the scene in the backend, so it just like double checks that this is what you want to do. So if I click on yes, that will be updating the scene. So if I go back now and I reopen that scene, or I reload, I can just reload. This should show now the updated scene with that cube. Change it.
Well, open should just reload that page, right?
Sorry?
Oh, selected only. Yep.
Selected only.
Yeah. Yeah, just updated like a.
It did what you asked it to do.
Yeah, at least it worked as it was supposed to. Yes, and now this will, now this cube is here. And then the last part will be like, well, I mean, I guess we can just check it here. So I could create a new scene using this scene. So this is the last part here. So I could just create my new scene. Then I can choose a screenshot.
Does that pick from Blender images as well?
Yeah. Yeah, and basically I'm reusing that component that we, that operator that we created, the open image. We're using that for environment maps and I think a couple of places, reflection groups.
But like in
it doesn't populate with the Blender. Oh, it does.
It does. Like, could I use my render result for that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this lists all the images that you have loaded in Blender in this scene. So I could
and any of them will work.
Yeah, in this one you can see there's like the checker temp, the Earth continents, the HDR for the photo studio. So anything that's compatible with them. That I feel now we only accept.
Right, like I don't think an HDR works in the thumbnail. No. I think it has to be a PNG.
Yeah, I think it has to be a PNG. But yeah, maybe
a JPEG may not work either. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but well, once you click on publish, then okay, successfully published. So now if I get my scene again, then I see my new scene there. I can change. For now, I haven't made like any forms to update all the properties of the scenes. So now you can only update the GLB. Eventually, we might want another form here to just edit the different fields. Like there is fields missing here, but yes, this is the most common used ones, which is the screenshot, the name, and the GLB. You can also edit some properties about the attribution stuff. We will need to add later, but for now, we're just doing the thing. But yeah, so you can't edit anything here. This is why this is grayed out versus other lists which are you can edit. So yeah, but basically you can choose any scene. You click on update. You update that scene. You can get the scenes on the server, open that scene, or create a new room using that scene, or publish the new scene. So this is this is what I was working on. But yeah, for the rest. Yeah, essentially that's how the the scene debugger publisher works. It's yeah. So that's it. The thing that I was talking about is sometimes I feel it's a bit. Oops. Okay, something I changed here. So that sometimes I feel the way is organized maybe it's not super intuitive. I don't know. So the instances.
I think that's good. I like the organization.
Yeah, because, for example, yeah. Well, we can leave it like this for now. I guess we will figure out as we use it more and more. But yeah, so that's essentially the debugger. I guess it will make it easier to iterate over the scenes and yeah, actually, I was checking today this thing that Jim mentioned about the Windows issue with the lagging and the hanging, actually. Actually, and then I remember that you mentioned last week that you were also lagging. You could notice some lag.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense because I realized that this is one of the things that you do pretty early when you work on something, and then you don't revisit. And for some reason, in Linux and Mac was working fine, but in Windows was creating a huge lag, which is this part here. So there is this utility method that we have, which is called isModule. No, wait, no, here. This get user Python file. So we are using this from a few different places, and yeah, this is creating a subprocess and running running a command, and this is being called and indirectly is being called in some poll methods, and in Mac and Linux it didn't cause any overhead, but in Windows this call to subprocess run was making the whole Blender lag. And it doesn't really make sense to call it all the time because I mean the user Python path is going to be the same since you start until you quit. So it doesn't really make sense to be calling and not catch that. So yeah, it changes that in my Windows machine. So this is cached, and then the first time you call, it will call the subprocess. But then after that, it will just return the catch value without needing to. And same applies for, well, not module available is not the case. But I think there's a few, or maybe we don't call subprocess run. I need to check where are we calling that to make sure that we are not calling it from places where it can cause lag because they are being called repetitively fast. But I think that's the only place because the rest is just operators for executing things. So yeah, actually this is the only place where it doesn't really make sense, and it was causing all the lag. So I fixed that, and now it works as expected in Windows 2 as well.
Well, I can say from my own experience of using this a bit, I don't have the latest one, but the workflow improvement is huge. It's just being able to just hit update and see the changes right away it makes a big difference. Yeah. As good as drag and drop was, it was still slower.
Yeah. No, the idea is that you don't really need to leave your environment like Blender to iterate over the scenes. Because it's I think it was very time consuming, not only dragging and dropping, but there's a few friction points there. Like you have to know the flags, you have to create rooms, which is every time you have to open the like type and then add the flags, or maybe eventually you will favorite some of those URLs, but still like you have to go. What was it? Okay, I have favorites here. So it's like some bookkeeping related to that and remembering the flags, uh, but also things that you do like well all these export flags, and you have to go to the export panel and select the ones that you need, and usually probably there's a few that you want most of the times for hubs. So we set a couple internally that might cause some issues in hubs, so you don't have to be aware of that. But yeah, I think the fact that you can have like different instances and you can create rooms quickly and just like click on an update button, and then you just see it. You can work side by side and just clicking on the update button and see all the changes almost instantly. Because it's good to keep in mind that this happens. Well, there's a few things that they still need to send information to the remote endpoint, like publishing, for example. Publishing requires you taking the GLB and uploading it to the remote instance, or yeah, the publishing part, like this part here, just interact with the remote endpoint, like getting the scenes or updating the scene, publishing,
That's
all those
really
things.
nice.
Send it. Sorry.
That's really nice, the publishing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm
Mm.
wondering that maybe we could make a little clearer, like well, not clear. The messages you've got there are good, but the get scenes. I'm wondering if we could automate that for the user, because the updates of that. Because I'm thinking people may forget to click get scenes before doing something.
You mean that people may not be aware that they have to get their scenes to?
Yeah, and or it that like that only returns the current scenes, right?
Yeah.
So if you then go to Spoke and add new ones, they won't show up in that list until you click Get Scenes again.
Yeah.
So maybe we want, like, do we want to automatically perform a Get Scenes operation when you open a room? Create a connection?
I didn't want to. Well, we can. I just like I try to avoid like polling or maybe after opening a room. But then the problem with this approach that we're taking for this add-on is like it's all based on the polling system on Blender. So nothing refresh unless you refresh uh, the the UI. For example, all these like the status was the status of the session, was the status of the connection. All those things only update if you hover on the URL and there's a poll the poll method is called, and then we check in the local storage if you have certain items stored. So if we want to refresh these after you connect to a room, then well, first we will be polling constantly to see.
Yeah, that alone is probably why you don't want to do it.
Yeah, you will need to be polling to see if you are signing already. So you can't really get scenes unless you are signing. You need a token. So we'll need to be like polling constantly to see if you are already signing, and then if you are signing to that, and then stop polling. So I just like, yeah.
Do we actually though? Is that something we need to check, or do we just try to get the scenes? If the token is not there, then we just fail, and then the next time someone opens the room, we try again, and just make it an automated part of opening a room. I mean, I suppose then you'd still have to leave the get scenes button there so that someone can manually refresh it.
Yeah. No, I mean there are solutions. It's just I felt like maybe it wasn't necessary because then you see that it's a get scenes button. There is an empty scenes list, and then you just click on that, and anytime you want, and then you get the new list.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if we find a way of doing that without much overhead, then we can add it. That can be like a follow-up feature easily. But yeah, there is an easy way of doing it. I guess this is also okay. Yeah, also the whole thing is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if anyone had any questions, but you're not done. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that the whole debugging panel works based on your connection status to a specific instance. So you need to open, whenever you create or open a room, you open a session or a browser session, and then the actions that you can do are based on your connection status. And if you are signing, then you can update, or if you are or publish, you need to also be signing and stuff. So it's also everything is based on. But the first thing that has to happen is you open a browser session connected to a specific instance, because in that moment then we have access to the local storage in the browser, and then we can start checking. Oh, this person is signing. This person has a token, and so on. Ideally, in the way of doing this will be like using the API, and then you use the token. You create the token for your instance API. You use that token, and with that token we can do everything. We can create a new room, and then we open the room. So we wouldn't need to go through this step of opening the browser session. So we can check things like that if you are logged in or not. And so it will be ideally we should go maybe in that direction, but I mean that's also like add some friction, because you need to create a token, and we will need to create tokens for the demo room, and so people can start. So I thought it was just easier that you open the browser window, and then once you are logged in, that you can start doing things like create a room or stuff like that. So I don't know. Well, for now, I guess this is good enough because it doesn't require the user doesn't need to do anything, only like clicking the buttons and say now when I want to create a room or open a room or publish or whatever. So I think it's good enough for now.
I actually do have one question. Having used this a little bit, I find that status light at the top very useful. It's helpful just to know, like, I have this session still active. But the bigger that this panel has gotten, it's always hidden because I'm always scrolled down to the update button. I wonder if the status light could be near the update button.
Well, we can.
Or otherwise show it somewhere, like in the tab itself, or like somewhere, like some other. Just because I always ended up closing those up so that I could.
Yeah, I moved it to here because this status icon is common to a few things, like to update and to publish.
Mm-hmm.
So we can replicate that in both places, so you have it.
Pin that panel.
Sorry?
I wonder if you can pin it.
That panel.
Can you pin things in Blender? Never seen that.
You can, and then they stay up. Like if you go to your the properties editor, and you pin a tab.
Here.
Yeah, I see at
the top. There's a pin.
There's a
okay.
button.
Okay. So.
And there,
But now that will just stay on the plane until you, like, if you switch to a different object in your list at the top, it'll stay on plane. That's what that
Okay, so
does.
you're pinning for a specific
Yeah,
content.
but I thought there was one for
For panel sections, like,
yeah
I
as
don't know about that.
well.
Yeah.
That's something I need.
Anyway, it was just a minor thing. It was just like,
Yeah.
if at a glance I could see that the tab, like the hub's tab was green or red or yellow or something, I don't know, like I would just know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if there's a way to pin it, that would be ideal, because that's exactly
Yeah.
what I was trying to accomplish with putting it there, so it's visible in all situations. But yeah, otherwise, it's a bit. I mean, at least you can collapse, and I
I
guess.
mean, the update button doesn't light up until the status is green anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I should know if update is clickable, then I'm all good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. If
So
whenever.
maybe that point is moot.
All the actions should only be clickable whenever they're gonna work.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
so that I'm not. I think that's fine.
yeah.
Let me just.
Manuel, did you try to add the update button to the quick menus?
To
It
the
should work in Blender, but
which
It
is
works.
the
You can add it to your quick favorites. Yeah,
yeah,
what is that?
you can.
you can
Oh, the
right-click
update.
the update button and add it to your
Okay.
quick
Oh,
Yeah.
the
favorites.
quick favorite, yes. This would be
Yeah.
the best way to handle
What,
it, just to
what are the quick favorite?
type Q.
When you hit
Type
Q on your
Q
keyboard,
and
it'll.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 I guess that's
that is the
Yeah.
fastest way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Just Q
Except
and
for a
then hit.
hotkey. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I guess that's something to do by every user can do that.
This looks very, very great.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully it's gonna be useful. Um,
Oh, definitely.
In general, what do you think when this plugin version will be available to the public testing team?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the last thing to fix for this initial version without publishing. So publishing is just like as part of a new brand, like an update on this initial version. But the initial version, I think it's with this last fix for the Windows lagging issue, it should be good. I was wondering if it makes sense to wait to add the publishing features, because also I think there's like a few changes in where the structure, like the buttons and a bit of the organization. So I was a bit concerned about like releasing something and in a week releasing something like an update that changes like the location of panels and buttons and stuff. So as it's the publishing part is quite advanced state, I was maybe thinking of waiting a bit and releasing the whole thing. But
I don't think the layout has changed all that much. It mostly seems like just additional things. Well, the closed room being shifted to the top is different, but I don't think that's too jarring for a user. So I think it would be fine to release one that we have ready and then update it in a week's time.
yeah, so this is the current panel. So yeah, it's not that different. It's like this status has moved to the top part, so it's its own block. But yeah, the rest is mostly the same. And I wanted to check if internally I had done any updates that are gonna cause any trouble. Yeah, but if not, I think probably it's a good idea to release this and then wait for the publishing part. Because I think this is already quite useful as it is for the backend.
Yes, definitely it is.
And also people with a chance for people to get familiar with it and report bugs and all that. But yeah, so the goal is providing like an environment to work on content for apps, which is more seamless. than what we have now. Yeah, so hopefully. So yeah, but then if I'm gonna check if the changes that I have for the publishing part are will introduce any potential issues that make it better to wait for it and release now. But otherwise, probably like I'm gonna do some testing on Windows tomorrow, and maybe if everything is fine, I can release um, by by the end of my day or so this time more or less.
Wow, great. Will it be a different plugin to install, or?
No, this is part of the Blender the Hubs Blender add-on, so the main add-on. So behavioral
Okay.
graphs is a different add-on, but this
Yes.
one is because this is completely it's not dependent on behavioral graphs at all. This is just like for a scene updating, and that can be useful for any Hubs Blender user.
Okay, great.
Great, this will speed up the process a lot. So we went from uploading the scene in the Spoke backend to drag and drop to having a integrated solution within a few minutes, at least for Charlie and me. So that's great. Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's there was always like a lot of questions, especially after behavior graphs. There's a lot of questions always in the chat, like how can we run our scenes or what are the flags, and so I think the original idea behind this was like avoiding avoiding to for people to be aware of the existence of all these different flags and how do you add them and all that. So I think that's only for that, and the the easy update. It's already worth it. Yeah, I think having like an environment
to be honest, the description of the local scene parameter in your post is also not as descriptive or as clear as it maybe should be, because Charlie and I we were reading this particular pinned post just a few hours ago, and we did not get that the local scene parameter is exactly doing what we were looking for. Maybe they're rephrasing or something, just the documentation. I mean, that the parameter is there, but we read the description and did not get that it's exactly doing what we want.
Yeah, I can see now that might be confusing. Yeah. Probably. I was thinking now that you mention it. I was thinking that the parameter, the property in the Blender add-on is called the back local scene. Maybe we should rename those instead of having the actual flag, because we can't have that in parentheses or in the description. But maybe the name of the property should be something more descriptive. Let me just thinking mostly on. I mean, for the most experienced users, that's already good enough. But like these ones here. So
they could be more descriptive, and then a tooltip that says what it is, like, oh, that's debug local scene. But what it says is something like edit locally and not
it
upload.
Allows you to it allows you to hot swap the scene, right? It should be something like that.
Yeah.
So now this local debug, for me, it has nothing to now. As I know what it does, I mean, it makes sense. You change the scene locally, not for all the other clients, if I get it correctly. But it's not what the user expects, right?
Yeah, no, I can imagine that the back local scene is not very meaningful for a newcomer. So I was thinking of maybe we could rename it to something like scene / object update, or no, maybe that's not very descriptive. So something that makes, because here, for example, if you check this and click on update, you don't really know what's going to happen if you don't know what the flag does. So you see this for newcomers, it's like the back local scene. I don't know what's going to happen when I update the button.
Maybe
Right.
allow local scene override or something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
the tooltip already says that. So
Yeah, the description says that, but I was wondering if here by the update button we should make it more clear that you are updating this scene or you are just spawning an object in the room. So something like so, because in one case you are going to update the room scene, and in the other case you are going to spawn an object in the room.
yeah, because those room flags don't necessarily represent the current state of the room.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why initially I locked these once to open a room. Because if you open a room and then you disable this, and then you click on update, then you don't know what's going to happen. This is not.
Problem is you are never able to retrieve the room state. Right? That's the main issue or the core problem.
Okay, in the status thing, could we just maybe have a label under the room name that just lists them all horizontally?
Yeah.
Which flags you have open?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like the idea of being more verbose about what you are using, and now we are already showing information about the status waiting for a room or the name of the room. So I think it will be useful to know exactly what's the flags that you are using here. Or maybe even better than the flags, and like for example, loader, like new loader versus old loader. ECS the back panel, enable, disable. Well, these are pretty descriptive, but at least this one, instead of just showing the flag that the local scene, maybe saying like update or update type or update something, and then says like object spawning or a scene updating. So you can see like, okay, so now if I click on update, this one.
I think the room flags should be the same as the statuses up there. Otherwise, it's you have to connect. Okay, which one means which thing? So maybe if you're changing the room flag name, then do that. I'm still not sure you really need to because of the tooltip there.
Yeah. Maybe
we're not really finding any more descriptive short names.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can do one thing is like showing the current active flags, just because what we said that this can be changed after the room's open. So having the current active flags visible there, and then here in the update panel, showing somehow that you are either spawning an object or updating the scene, like maybe above the update button, like a text saying you are now you are in object spawn mode or you are in the scene update mode. So when you are here, you can clearly see what the update button is going to do, or even or we could even change the text of the button, which is like spawn object in the scene or update.
Yes, that would be better. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that will be more clear, so you can clearly see what the update button is.
Yes, update scene or spawn object.
Yeah, like and then show the flags in the status panel. I think that could be, I like that, because otherwise I feel, with the descriptions here, maybe it gives you a good idea of what it's doing, even though you don't relate to the back local scene name. But yeah, maybe the description is enough for clarifying that.
I think so, because a new user, no matter what you name it, is not going to be familiar with the concept. So keeping it consistent across everywhere, I think, is better.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I mean, that's just me. Anyone feel free to disagree.
No, I think it is very important. Maybe there is a whole page with these URL parameters on the description somewhere on Hub's pages, and
There is, yeah.
maybe there could be a link. I'm always searching for this page to find these URL parameters, and when there would, I don't know if it is possible to have a link in there to go to this
Sure.
page and to see everything.
Blender allows you to open web pages.
Is there such a page? I'm not aware of.
I just posted it.
Sorry.
It may not be up to date, but it's close.
And it could be updated regularly, then it makes sense
sure.
to have it.
Oh yeah.
That's part of it.
Yes.
That's key.
Okay, yeah, no, I think the last parameter that we added for is local sales. Yeah, definitely this is a good idea. Yeah, having a link here to the yeah.
This could be done better, like a maybe that would be easier to read. I don't know, just another page.
Well, but at least having the information there is a good thing.
This page is very, very helpful. I look at it regularly. And I think it is still helpful when we have this plugin, because we have different situations. When you find a GLB somewhere and want to upload it, then you need to do it manually. So everybody needs to know.
Well, and you still may want to add your own, like if you're testing VR instead of 2D, you may want to change parameters and
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna add this. Okay, yeah, I think that will be, because I think the rest is pretty, it's not very confusing. So this is creating a room in that instance, opening this room that you save, and then this is just the flag. So the rest is shouldn't be very confusing. But yeah, this part I think is, especially because you can change things after while you are in the session, like the flags, or you can change the URL or the so once the session is open, then you have to wait until you close and open again to apply the new property. Cool. Well, that's the update or see the bagger part. I will add these changes. I will test a little bit longer the Windows fix, and then I think probably tomorrow I will release this first version.
Cool.
Yep.
Blender 4.0. Yep, we
know they are not supported.
Yeah, we haven't focused. Well, the I think we talk about it, and with this probably we need to start testing and adding support for it.
I wouldn't, not until behavior graphs are finished, because they changed the whole node system in Blender 4.0. It's going to take a while to update the add-on to support that. And
are they even? Is Blender even on a? Do they have a stable release yet for 4?
I don't know. They're looking at releasing a 4.03 now, so
So may want to wait anyway.
4.0 has been buggy.
Yeah,
But let's
no, that's
just
what it was.
make the gigagraphs with the LTS.
That for the experience in previous Blender versions, the first version of Blender is always very buggy. So yeah, what we talk about is like, oh, let's wait until there is like a more stable release of 4. Because otherwise it's just like you might go crazy